Welcome to Center Heist Productions. It is December 19th, 2024. Please hit the likes and subscribe down in your right hand corner. Muchly appreciate that. Thank you to my followers. And please share it with your family and friends and even on chat groups if it would help as well. If you come across the channel, please don't leave without subscribing and hitting the likes. All right, now we're going to get to the news of the day, which happened yesterday, I believe. We got a trade with um, Montreal making a trade with Nashville for Alexandre uh, Carrier, and we traded Justin Barron for him. Kind of got mixed emotions now. I've never been as you know, I'm not going to say that I was a Barron fan. However, uh, again, I was giving him compliments after. I wasn't impressed with him, I'd say, up until about 7 games into the season. After that, I started seeing improvement in him. So I started giving him compliments. No, I'm not going to BS and say I was a fan. I didn't like the lack of physicality in his game and stumbling over his feet, creating odd man rushes, that type of thing. But I did, again, I seen improvements in those areas in his game after game 7. So kind of got mixed emotions on this trade, to tell you the truth. I think let's break down the defense period. Um, Now, there's no doubt I was definitely more of a Kovacevic and a Harris fan than Barron. However, again, as I said, we were seeing improvements in his game in the last while. So I hadn't given up on him. When I seen these improvements starting, I started to like what I've seen coming out of him. Um, Again, yes, he was still had a ways to go, no doubt about it. But again, I think when we break it down, it was so hard to watch Harris go, but we knew that a couple of these young defensemen were going to go. I think where we made our error was Kovacevic. I think he was the perfect solution to the troubles we're going through right now. I think that was a premature trade, and look at how well it's done for Jersey. Now, seeing this trade, I want to wish Justin Barron all the best. Thank you for your services. Sorry to see you go. Again, yes, I can admit I wasn't the hugest fan of his game. However, I was giving him compliments and seeing the improvement. Could admit I was seeing improvements in his game after the 7 game mark of this season. Carrier. I have like I say, I know the Preds are in a lot of big trouble, so they're probably, don't be surprised if they start heading into a rebuild themselves. So I think they had to do something as well. They're one of those teams, they shouldn't be, with all the moves they made over the summer, they shouldn't be where they are in the standings. So seeing William Carrier, and I guess he's native to Montreal, I think I don't like his size. He's 5'11". He's actually smaller than Barron, so that kind of bothers me. So I'm not a huge fan of that. However, his right up, he seems to be a responsible second pairing defenseman, which is on the right side, which is kind of what Montreal needs. So I think the way I'm chalking it up is this is kind of your here and now type of trade, whereas it helps us now. It's not going to be the future, that's for sure. And I think he's about 28 years old, so he's a little, we traded off youth for a little experience, and we needed experience. Does this open the door for David Savard being moved? I think it actually does. But it also, lets you, buys you time to fluctuate your thoughts on who it is you're going to move. experience wise on the back end. Because maybe you get that massive trade that you can't refuse for Matheson. You can't reject that if the trade is, overly worthwhile. But I do think it will be David, more so than Matheson. And if we can have, one of those young defensemen, I mean, that this balances things out. This will a lot. Struble being in the lineup as well. If you were to move Savard, um, don't know if that's the answer. I don't think Mayu is. I give him the rest of the season in Laval. Maybe he comes up towards the end of the season. Who knows? Um, we know Reinbacker's going to need an entire year next year in Laval as far as after coming back from that injury when he comes back. So with this trade, it's mixed emotions for me. No, I'm not. A lot of people would probably think I'm dancing. Yes, would I rather seen us trade Barron to Columbus than Harris? Yes. I can be honest on that. But I kind of always thought with what we have in the system that there was a good chance those guys were both going anyway. So it doesn't quite um, timing. It's all about the timing, right? So did it matter? Not really. It was a matter of time that this was going to transpire. I guess I wasn't ready to give up on Barron. I wasn't ready to give up on Harris either. But however, I think Montreal seen enough of what they had to see, and there, again, there were serious issues, but there was improvement as well. We have to give the guy credit where he's due credit. Carrier, I do like this move as far as experience. He seems responsible. Now he was injured, so that's and they just took him off the injured reserve, from what I understand. Um, I don't like the fact of the size, as I just said, but however, I think this is a trade that's short term. Get us through maybe a couple years before the youngsters are fully ready. Some of these guys to get experience and be experienced by the time the others come up, so that they can lead them. I think that's kind of what you're looking at. Um, so I think this resolves some of the issues. In my opinion, I think this is the perfect fit for a guy to, you can either place him with Matheson, or you can place him with Hudson. I think that's his perfect fitting. Um, Maybe he's the perfect answer for Lane Hudson, because I personally don't like the two offensive players together, Matheson and Hudson. I'll make that clear. I know that Matheson's a phenomenal skater and can get back if Hudson gets in trouble, but Matheson tends to like to do the same thing, and he can put. They both have the same mindset, so I'd rather see a responsible defenseman defensively with both of them. So that's why I've said it all along. I kind of like Gooley and Hudson together the most. But if you were trying to keep both of them on their left sides, then this would allow you to probably put Carrier with Hudson, uh, put Matheson back to the right side, and put Gooley to the left. They could be the first pairing. And then it continues to allot you to have David Savard with Jack-Eye, which I think right now is the perfect pairing for Jack-Eye. I think Jack-Eye has done well with Savard. They just seems to be the perfect match. But it also allots Struble to come in and out of the lineup as well. So I think that's one other thing you could be looking at, right? So, but I do like Jack-Eye. I've seen the most improvements. I'm quite happy with where he's come from. I didn't know it was going to come forward that way. So I really, really like what Jack-Eye's done so far. So I think that's how you set it up. This guy's going to make it more feasible for the defense and settle things down, bringing that experience. Don't like his size, but he seems responsible, and he did decent. He's got a half decent write up, um, playing second pairing minutes. 20 plus minutes with the Preds. So, and he's Montreal native, so that doesn't hurt either, I suppose. So I think he may be the answer short term, kind of, and really it's kind of, in my opinion, kind of replaces Kovacevic uh, in that regard with more experience. Would I prefer Kovacevic? Of course I would. He's where I think we made a mistake prematurely. So with that being said, it's a trade, and I wish Justin Barron all the best. I think this is also something that gets rid of the reminder that we lost in that trade for Terry Lekkonen. Definitely one of the trades we lost in. However, again, I can credit Barron in saying he was starting to come, and you know, it's sad when you see these youngsters go before they've had the amount of actual time needed in touches to actually show who they are. Because I think Justin Barron might turn out to be something. Um, it's hard to say. It's really hard to say, but he was starting to show some signs. So this might be the perfect answer for Justin Barron. Maybe it's the pressure of Montreal. Not everybody can handle that. That intensity that he probably, maybe that's one of the things he just couldn't handle, that being under the spotlight, under the eye so much, where this is the, the mega hockey, right? So this could actually be, he could just blow out, who knows, from the gates in Nashville and end up being one of their best defensemen and they need to go in the youth movement themselves. So don't be surprised. Those ingredients of the pressure and all that type of stuff, that maybe that's the answer Justin needed. Uh, Again, I did see positive improvements in his game, so I hadn't given up on him yet, but I knew what his weaknesses were. I think eventually he was probably going to be moved. Uh, so it's done, and Montreal had to shore it up, and they only got a certain amount of time before tomorrow to make trades. So is there something else coming? Who knows? I think it opens the door for the David Savard trade as well later on by the trade deadline. Whether they do it now or then, that's going to depend on the offers, I think. Um, but I think it does open the door because you still got Struble here that can jump into a position, um, and you got Mayu who's in time will be jumping up. Whether it's the end of the season or next season is the question mark, right, of his timing. I do think he will be up. I think more so next season, but wouldn't be shocked if he gets in the lineup towards the end of the season. So, like I say, again, trade I didn't expect. I'm not quite sure. I should have looked at the timing of when this trade was made. It looked like it came last night. Um, Maybe it came this morning. Anyway, I spotted it immediately and was a little surprised. Let's see if we can go there and see when this was done. All right. Doesn't want to do it. Isn't that funny? Yeah. So anyway, I think it's a good trade on both sides. Gives us the experience we need. And yeah, it was yesterday, 9:45 p.m. I'm correct. And unfortunately, I was crashed by 10 o'clock by the time the news would have broke. So it's the morning here. It's 7 something a.m. and just wanted to put this out there, for the fans to see that this trade was done. And again, welcome to Alexandre Carrier to Montreal. Hopefully, he can jump into the lineup immediately because I think we're going to need it. We need some settling in that area, and that could help to settle things well. And hopefully, he can play second pairing at least. And he might be well enough for our system to play even with Matheson. Who knows? Just so that we could break up those two offensive talents, so you know they can have somebody that's more defensive. on with them. So anyway, you're hearing it here from Center Heist Productions, where the puck drops first. Thank you for watching. Thank you for following. Please subscribe, hit the likes, share it with your friends and family, and we will catch you in the next update, whether it be a trade or the Detroit's back-to-back reviews Friday and Saturday. Until then, God bless.